Hello and welcome to GxB, Video Games and the Blockchain. I'm your host Chris Stead. You're watching CryptoFire TV and we're here to talk about the intersection between video games and blockchain. Very exciting, lots of stuff going on. We hope you missed us from our last episode, but we're back and we've got plenty to talk about, including Epic Games and Fortnite. What are they up to? We've got RoboCache doing some more interesting stuff in the PC distribution platform side of things. We've got Enjin doing another big announcement. They're always doing another big announcement. We've got two brand new indie games to talk to you about as well. We're going to roll straight into our top story. Something I'm very, very interested in. This is Epic Games and the biggest game on the planet, Fortnite. Fortnite has just passed 200 million users. That is huge numbers. Just to put little things in perspective, Steam, the PC service that's been around since 2003, has about 175 million registered users. Epic Games has already passed that with Fortnite, a game that came out just a year ago. That's how well these guys are doing. Now, we've spoken about Epic Games a fair bit on this show, even though they haven't had any outright blockchain gaming so far, because they are very well positioned to make use of what the blockchain technology can offer video games industry. Now, they've got the widely popular engine. No, Unreal Engine needs no introduction. It's been in heaps of the games that we love for decades now and continues to push things front. There's already software development kits that are enabled through Unreal Engine that bring blockchain into video games. There's already some movement there, not to mention what Epic Games is working on themselves. So they're well placed there. As we mentioned, Fortnite's the biggest game in the world at the moment, and it's very cosmetics driven, it's very items driven. It's got the battle pass, you unlock certain things to customize your characters with. That lends itself very well to blockchain technology and the idea of ownership of items and the provable ownership and ability to trade, which they haven't got into yet, but say with me. Okay, I think they're going to. It's also very active in the esports scene. Esports and blockchain are very, very closely connected because it's hard to cheat and hack into anything that's blockchain enabled. They can set up smart contracts for instant payments of players through Fortnite, through any sort of esports tournament. So we believe that Epic Games and Fortnite being such a big esports game, also Gears of War as well, will also help tie into that as well. Especially now that it sells its own games as well. You can sell it sells its own games through the Epic Games launcher. It has to deal with microtransactions, has to deal with transactions across borders, has to handle all these accounts all the time, and that is also expedited massively by the blockchain. Now, last time we spoke about Epic Games on this TV show, it was to talk about MagnaChain. Now, MagnaChain is a video game specific blockchain creator. Their blockchain can be scaled through sidechains, can be used to deploy games directly, so their blockchain can be used to distribute games. And it can handle up to 100,000 transactions simultaneously, which is very important for bringing any sort of large game like Fortnite to the scale of being blockchain enabled. Now, they had a partnership back in July, I believe, which kind of went quietly unnoticed by many of the mainstream press outlets in the gaming scene. But it's a major, major thing, especially since then they've also had a $125 million investment into Epic Games, the company. So they're all working on all of this stuff in the background is going on. That's why we believe, or I believe, that Epic Games will be the company that pushes blockchain gaming hard into the actual proper mainstream gaming area, because it's got all that Fortnite players behind it and so much reputation going back to the 90s. One other reason I forgot to mention was Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games. He's a huge fan of the blockchain. I'm going to show you a quote right now, which is from him. I'm not going to read the whole thing out to you, but you can take a look at it there. Basically, it just says, blockchain's awesome, blockchain's going to lead the future, and we're totally going to be involved in it. How come no one noticed me saying this and isn't publishing it everywhere? Well, we noticed him, and we're talking about it. So, two big pieces of news that have happened in the last week that further enhance my belief that this is going to be a blockchain-enabled service in the future is the fact that Epic Games has opened its own store. This is a competing store to Steam. Now, Steam has already been on our show a couple of times, has been resistant to change, or at least on the surface. Surely there's things going on in the background, but on the surface it's been very resistant to the change we're seeing with blockchain-enabled gaming. I'm talking about the likes of Wax and Opskins, which have been banned from trading on Steam and had to take their secondary market elsewhere because of their engagement with blockchain. Things like this. Epic Games Store is now a direct competitor to Steam, and as I mentioned at the top of this news piece, it is a serious competitor with 200 million Fortnite users alone. That's not even counting Epic Games' other projects like Unreal Tournament, Gears of War, and things that aren't Fortnite related, that they've also got under their belt and are pushing, not to mention their multi-format. So that is the number one thing. They're going to have bring these games in, and we're going to see them handle the transactions as that grows, as the interest in that grows. They've got a 15% cut, I believe, they're taking of the games, which is half of what Steam takes. So developers are going to be encouraged to get on board with this because they've got this huge install base to get involved with. Plus, on top of that, they're also going to get twice as much money, well, not twice as much money, so 15% more money than they would have got beforehand if they went through Steam. So that's should attract a lot of developers to the scene, and in order to enable that, I can't imagine anyone in their right mind right now would build any sort of storefront without involving blockchain technology now that we have it and it's out there and it's functional, because it just makes everything more efficient and it makes the running costs so much lower, and it puts a lot of power back into the consumers, which I think is going to help get these new stores off the ground when they're fighting against indoctrinated stuff like Steam. The second big thing that Epic Games brought out came with the release of Season 7, which released this week, of the Battle Royale experience, which is Fortnight Creative. Now this is kind of a Minecraft style mode, or Disney Infinity even style mode, where players are given up to 4 islands. They're given 4 islands each on which they can build whatever they want. They've got all the tools, got prefabbed items, they've got all the individual items, and they can manufacture that however they want, build entire mini games, challenges, islands, share them with their friends, all that kind of great stuff that people who get into their sandbox games and love their sandbox games, like the 100 million, 200 million Minecraft guys, for example, can get into and create their own stuff. Now, people, when they create their own stuff, they want to be stakeholders, they want to own their stuff, they want to be able to have control over that. And that is what blockchain enables. So this, to me, is an example number 2 of the things that have happened this week in the world of Epic Games, which say, yes, we are going to be pushing blockchain some way, shape or form into the mainstream very, very soon. This could, in fact, be the biggest story of 2018 anyway, because Steam has been up for some disruption, the whole entire scene's been up for some disruption for a while, and Epic Games certainly has the power to make that disruption real. We do have a bit of footage to show from you. It is actually the Fortnite Creative trailer that came alongside the launch of Season 7, for those of you who haven't managed to see it, which is everyone but the 200 million of you. And like I said, watch this space. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't even know if Epic Games will ever actually volunteer it publicly as a big announcement. I think they'll just start running it all on blockchain in the background, and we'll start hearing about it in interviews, and we'll go, wow, this stuff's really cool, it works. All right, check out the trailer.
What's up, Fortnite community? I'm here at Epic HQ for a special kickoff event. We've got something new and exciting coming for you in Season 7, Fortnight Creative. On December 13th, we'll be launching Fortnite Creative. In this mode, you can build on your own private island and also design games with friends. The initial release will be rough, but if you want to jump in and check it out, pick up the Battle Pass for a week of early access starting December 6th. Hop in and explore with your squad. Devise action-packed combat modes, or shoot your cinematic masterpiece. Use your imagination to create your modes or edit with friends. Everything you make is saved from session to session. While preparing for launch, we invited out 16 amazing creators to dive deep into Fortnite Creative. For more info, head over to our blog for a full list of their channels. Stay tuned for additional info on Fortnite Creative in the coming weeks. Until then, it's your boy Mooney signing off.
And so that's Fortnite Season 7, Fortnite Creative trailer. Look, who knows what's going to happen with this, but considering the population in that game, it's going to blow up. There's no doubt about it. Okay, moving on to news story number 2, and it's in a similar vein. This is RobotCache. Now, RobotCache are also trying to disrupt Steam's, trying to disrupt the PC game distribution system. So they are now facing Epic Games as well as Valve, which is a pretty big, hard feat to go up against, but they're going to do it anyway. They're going to give it a go anyway. Now, RobotCache's kind of things that it can achieve are, it allows you to buy and sell. We know that. It allows you to choose whether you want to mine or not the kind of crypto in the background running this thing, which is called Iron. But you don't have to. You can actually do everything through the normal fiat money. If you want to, though, however, you can mine and earn Iron, which you can then use to buy games through the service. Plus, they just take a 5% cut, so that's lower again than Epic Games. So that is also very, very interesting to developers, I'm sure. And obviously, it's actually volunteered that secondary market into the platform from the beginning, where Epic Games has so far not announced that, and Steam definitely is not touching that at this stage. I do have a quote that came from the CEO, Lee Jacobson here, which is competition breeds better solutions, and it couldn't be a better time to bring one to market. And we're going a few steps further with resell and gamification, which are super unique to us, which means we're well positioned to be a destination for consumers to favour. That's his reaction to Epic Games announcing that they're going to release a store too. As I mentioned, I believe Epic Games will also roll those things out into their software as well, so that quote may not stand up over the test of time. However, the 5% cut is obviously beneficial to developers. Now, the other big ace in the hole here for these guys is Brian Fargo. He's the guy who founded Robot Cache, and you may know his name from way back in the 80s. He founded Interplay, who released a lot of my favourite games during the 90s, including Fallout. He was involved personally with that game and a lot of other big games. I used to love Stonekeep as well. That was a good game. And on top of Interplay, he then founded In Exile Entertainment, which recently got into the news because Microsoft just bought it out. It was doing Wasteland and The Bard's Tale, I think, as well. So he's been in the gaming scene for 30 years, has a name, has a reputation, knows people. So all of that stands in his favour and in the favour of Robot Cache finding its place in what's becoming a very disrupted space over the next couple of years, I'm sure. Now, the big news for today, and why we're bringing it up, is that they've just announced another 12 publishers have joined on to Robot Cache to sell their games through the network, which brings the total up to 23. I'm going to show you a list of those developers right now. Those are the new ones over there. Once they're publishing Big Ben, CI Games, you would have heard about. They're the guys behind Sniper Ghost Warrior. A few other devs that you may probably not have heard of. Big Ben, they do Flat Out and the WRC games, big in the racing scene. Flat Out's really good. I think the Flat Out guys just made Wreckfest as their next game, actually. And Devolver Digital is obviously a really big one. You can obviously see down the in the existing ones, the ones that we already knew about, THQ Nordic are buying developers left, right and centre, and they're actually becoming a really, really strong publishing arm with some big, big names behind them. Devolver Digital, focusing on the indie space, very much the retro indie space. They did Hotline Miami, Enter the Gungeon, Dunwell, Shadow Warrior, Serious Sam they're doing. So yeah, look, that's starting to build a pretty good publishing arm there. And I think they've got an opportunity to at least shake the cage a little bit, at least setting the trends. But like I said, Epic Games is in the box position to go lay down the big slam, lay down Mazaire on this and take it to town if they want to. But as it currently stands, they're signing up the developers, they're offering a good portal, and they're allowing people to resell games after they have used them. So why would you buy it through another service at this point? Because you have an asset you cannot resell if you buy a digital code through another store. It's great to see that developers are really getting into this distribution opportunities. It shows that there's definitely going to be a disruption. People are looking for new options. And again, we've got to ask, what's Steam doing? Like, what's going to happen there? They've got to come out with something soon, and we are just watching this space to see if they're going to level up, redo the whole store, and come out with something massive to face all of this challenge. Now, I'm going to show you some footage from a game called Gris. Gris has been published by Devolver Digital, one of the games we just listed then. I've just been playing it. It's an indie platformer, puzzle-centric, not combat-centric, and it's a really interesting narrative about a girl, Gris, her name, trying to deal with grief by untangling her mind. And so you're in her mind, kind of moving through this world, trying to solve these puzzles and untangle the elements of grief that are within her, and I guess move from a wasteland back into a paradise of understanding. It's beautifully done, very subtle, very interesting, very organic. And I'm going to show you a trailer of it now. So if you haven't seen this game, it's out now, you can get it. and that's Gris coming out of Devolver Digital, and it's only been out for about 2, maybe 3 weeks. It's on PC and Switch. Hopefully more consoles will come in 2019. Highly recommend checking that game out if you're into your kind of surreal games are art styles of indie experience. Okay, on to news story number 3, and this is our regular Enjin story. Unfortunately, we can't get away from it because they just keep doing really interesting stuff. Surely by now you've heard me talk about Enjin, but these guys are a startup as like a little community hub where groups of gamers, like a clan in World of Warcraft or a group of Minecraft guys that could go to some a particular space, have a chat amongst each other and just congregate. They got 20 million subscribers out of offering that service, and then they went into the blockchain pretty hard, came out with Enjin Coin. Since then, they've just been rolling out announcement after announcement after announcement. We had the software development kit, we had their own unique gaming-specific ERC standard called 1155. We had the metaverse, where there's all these games interconnected and items that swap between them. We've had the storefront that's going to come with that metaverse, where the developers can allow people to have a secondary market within the ecosystem. Then we had the Enjin Mint, where you could go in and create your own item of any sort, or your own anything really, and then tokenize it so you could put it into your game. So you could take your cool sword asset and turn it into a token and put it in the game. And more I'm sure I've forgotten. So now we're about to talk about their latest one, which is called Enjin Beam. Now Enjin Beam is a QR airdrop system. So this is a way of airdrops are something we see in the cryptocurrency space where as part of a ICO or some other system, a bunch of the token or the coin will be made available, airdropped in, right? So this is usually a pretty technical system involving wallets and keys and that type of stuff. This takes all of the complexity out of it, puts it all into a QR code that you can just scan and do however you want. And that can be an item in the game, for example. So these are the things that I think are really beneficial about this concept and how it can be applied to video games, is that the code can be placed anywhere. It can be in an advertisement, it can be on a can, it can be in food, it can be on a magazine, it can be absolutely anywhere, it can be on a website. So you have this massive marketing opportunity for these indie developers who are building their games through this system to be able to kind of get this QR code out anywhere. And that QR code could have whatever you want on it. So a developer could, for example, offer say 1,000 really rare guns to people and hide them into packets of chips as QR codes or something like that. And you could go buy 10 packets of twisties or something and get one of these codes, add it in, have one of these super rare items that is actually worth money. It's actually worth value because it's an actual owned item. It's not just in the game world. And that's meaningful onboarding. You know, that's what I'd like to call it, is that it's a meaningful way of getting people and going, hey, we're going to get you into this environment. And we're not just going to try and encourage you to do it by having fancy graphics or a nice, interesting blurb about our game. We're going to do it by offering you something from the game, which is really, really cool. Like I said, it could be tied into the metaverse, so you could potentially, Enjin itself could provide some QR codes that give you an item that works across all the 12 games that are currently announced for the Enjin multiverse, giving you heaps of value there. And the way that this QR code can be handled, it can be given to individuals, it can be given to groups of individuals, it can apply to multiple people at once, and it can be totally randomized as well. So they'll be able to randomize what content you get, or also what who gets it. I've got a video to show you a little bit more of that in a sec, but I think it's a really, really neat idea. But before we leave Enjin, I just also have to bring up Titan Flight Studios, which have just announced that 2 of their games will be coming to the Enjin multiverse. There's Rebounce, which is an arcade mobile game, which is out now, which you can play. And then there's an Untitled esports game that they're working on as well. So these guys are now adding their games to existing titles we've already seen in the Enjin multiverse, like Cats in Mechs, 9 Lives Arena, Crypto Wars. So there's a few bits and pieces that are already there, which is great. It's getting bigger. That's what we want to see. But like I said, here's a bit of a deeper insight into what Enjin Beam is offering. And yet again, another tick for Enjin, still pushing forward on blockchain gaming.
G'day there, Simon here from Enjin, here to show you a brand new feature of the Enjin Smart Wallet. It's called Enjin Beam. Now this feature is easily one of the most exciting pieces of technology that we've released so far, because it lowers the barrier to adoption of cryptocurrencies and blockchain items to the floor. What I'm about to show you today is literally the easiest way to receive ERC20 cryptocurrencies and ERC1155 blockchain items in the world. It's as simple as this. You scan a QR code and you receive the blockchain assets immediately. Now there's a few ways this can work. You can send someone a QR code, they scan it and receive an item. You can send it to many people, they all receive the item, or they can receive many items. But what I'm going to show you today is our lottery loot box prize system. It offers the users a random item and it's really cool. So I'll show you how to use it within 60 seconds. So as you can see, we're on the home screen. You simply touch your fingerprint on the sensor and you're straight into your wallet. Then you press that little hamburger in the top left and then you press scan QR. Next, your wallet app is probably going to ask for permission to use your camera. Of course you say yes, and then it's going to pop up straight away and scan that QR code. And remember that I scanned a lottery QR code. You also have the ability to scan a straight send and receive QR code. So what you're seeing right here is basically a claim screen for a lottery draw. It shows the probability of winning each prize. It shows all of the prizes that you can win. And obviously all of these images are customizable, including that header image up the top there. So to claim your prize, you just press open and then put in your password. Obviously you normally want to use a very complicated password that no one can guess. Of course, mine's not that complicated today because you all can see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Now, what's going to happen next is an SMS verification system that only happens the first time that you claim an item. From then, your phone number and mobile phone is cryptographically hashed into the server to ensure that no one can ever see it, while enabling the people that create the QR codes to choose how many times each person can claim it. It ensures a fair system for the users, and it ensures a sustainable system for the businesses and entrepreneurs and game developers that want to use it. So as you can see, I've just won the War of Crypto Multiverse Founders Token. Now, this is a really cool item because the multiverse is a network of games that all share items. So if I own one item, I can use it in multiple games. And this is only possible because of the blockchain and the Enjin toolset that makes it accessible to game developers. But if you're not a game developer and you want to make a token, it's super easy. You just go to mint.enjincoin.io, you put through an order form, it takes you a couple of minutes, and then we will create the token for you. And then if you want to create your own QR code, just contact us. We can work with ERC20 tokens and ERC1155 tokens. This technology is now yours. It can help you engage with your audience, connect with your community. It is literally the best way to offer your customers tangible digital value. So if you have an audience, a community, or a customer base that you want to connect with on a deeper level, send us an email at team@enjin.com and we'll see how we can help.
There we go. That's what Enjin's been up to. I think I said crypto wars at the start of that. It's War of Crypto. Sorry if I made that mistake. I think I did. Anyway, on to our new story number 4. And this is one for the old shooter fans out there, old school shooter fans. Now, everyone loves shooting. We like killing things. We like killing people, apparently, because that's always at the top of the charts, the shooting games. Now, the Arena has just been released into early access. The Arena is a genuine old school shooter. It's been made by Block Studio Gaming. I did a bit of research on these guys. They're out of Texas, big gaming scene in Texas. They were formed in 2017 and they consider themselves to be gamers who have been working in the blockchain tech space for 5 years. So hopefully that's a bridge there that's going to work well for this game. Certainly what I've seen so far looks good. Now I would describe it as Quake meets Serious Sam. That's the kind of feel that I'm getting out of it. You'll see a trailer at the end of this news piece so you can judge for yourself. It's more on the arcade bent, so we're talking real fast, real bloody, big jumps, bulky enemies, a bit of a gun fest. Interestingly, it's a mix of PvP and PvE. So from what I can see and from what I've seen, there are mons in this world that are roving around as well as you fighting with other people at the same time. I love this. This is great. I want to see this progression in this genre. This is kind of starting to see it in a few Battle Royale games, this idea of a third party being involved in creating a mess for the one-on-one duels. Now, one of the things I really like about these guys is that they're privately funded, so there's no ICO on this, or what do they call it? ICI? Item offering, IIO. I'm doing my head in, sorry. These guys are not going to ask you for money to make their game. That's the important thing to get out of this. And that means that you can have a little bit more faith in what this game is going to come out with. You don't have to try to buy in the hope of something being delivered. Something's going to be delivered anyway. They've been working on it for 10 months as it currently stands. And like I said, it's in early access now, so you can play it. The combat is very similar to what we've seen in the past. in that it's this retro style game. Interestingly, in their environments, they've only got 3 listed, and one of them's rainforest, another one's jungles, and I would have thought they were the same thing. So, like I said, early access, but hopefully they're going to start building out on that. We'll start to see a bit more environments listed in the near future and a bit more arenas. Now, where the kind of blockchain comes into this is in the way that they're handling their in-economy in-ecosystem currency. It's called PVP, that's the name of their coin, which is pretty good. They got in nice and early with that one. It's a ERC20 token. So it's not about so much items and that style of things as it is about driving an economy. These are the ways that you can earn it while you're playing the game. So some's rewarded when you begin. So as you begin the game, you'll be given some of this PvP to start with. It can be earned from activities that you do outside of the game. For example, sharing on social, being active in the community. These things will earn you a bit of PvP. When you get this with this PvP, you can use it to buy items, buy new weapons. You'll own these, of course, because this is a blockchain game, so you will be able to sell them. I didn't see anything about any sort of rarity or customization thing that may increase the value of certain weapons, so I don't think that's part of it. But perhaps it's just a means of being able to, I guess, get something back on your asset should you feel like you need to. PvP will also be dropped in the game by Mons, and you'll see it getting dropped in the game in the video in a section. And it's also won from other players, and this is where things get interesting. You basically bet on your skills prior to playing a game. So you go into the game and you go, oh, I'm going to put down 10 PvP on me in this game. The way it works is that purchase of PvP actually defines your health, which is very, very interesting, your health points, right? So if you're a super skilled player, you're actually betting that you can win the game with less health points than the other people. And if you can achieve that, then you're going to get the pool, or at least a huge chunk of it. Maybe the developer takes a cut. That wasn't made clear in what I saw. But either way, very interesting way of approaching it. Definitely want to keep an eye on and see how that experience plays out, whether it's really immersive and whether it's really engaging or not. But definitely one I haven't heard before, the idea of buying your health. I've seen one where you lose health, and every time you lose health, it's like chips away at the money you put in. So maybe it's just kind of a reverse of that. There's been a rebirth in this kind of genre over recent years. We've seen Doom come back with Venom. We've seen Wolfenstein come back with Venom. We've seen Quake Champions coming back. I know that Epic's working on an Unreal Tournament game again. There's a new Series Sam on the way. So people are getting back into that concept of just like running and gunning, which is what I grew up on, as opposed to kind of getting sniped from 100 miles away by some guy in camo, which is kind of where the industry went. Good luck to them then. I really hope it goes well, and I'm really interested to see how this mechanic plays out over time. Like I said, we do have some footage for you, so check it out. This is the arena by, let me get the developer right, Block Studio Gaming. All right, there you go. That's the arena. As you can see, it's got a very retro vibe. It is an indie game, you know, so let's make some concessions there and realise it's not going to be Call of Duty graphics, but as long as fun is fun, man. Fun is fun. Okay, on to our 5th story of the day. Our final and big story, well, big announcement anyway. Blanko's has been announced. Well, Blanko's Block Party, sorry, is the full name of the game. Now, this is a brand new release, well, brand new announcement, and it's like super fresh. Like these guys, as far as I can tell from trawling through all their LinkedIns and so forth, have only existed for a couple of months. I think this is a very early play on this game to try and gain some momentum and gain some interest before they can deliver any genuine gameplay footage. The footage we'll show you into this is just a nice big trailer of guys dancing. However, it's still worthy of paying our attention. I'll tell you why. It's been pushed by Mythical Games. Mythical Games are a relatively new outfit. few months old, as I said, but they're made up of mostly ex-Activision dudes, but guys with some serious experience. We're talking 10, 20 years in the game. The founder was involved in the Antic and also in Activision. There's some guys in there who go back to Codemasters, early Codemasters day. The creative director from Freestyle Games. 14 years he was at Freestyle Games. The other guys that made B-Boy, DJ Hero, they were involved in Guitar Hero, Buzz, remember Buzz on PlayStation? So a lot of party games. He's involved in this project as well. And a name that I recall, Rudy Koch, who was someone I interviewed a number of times when he was executive producer of the Skylanders series over at Activision. He's also done work on Call of Duty and a few other bits and pieces over there. So the team has a heck of a lot of experience and talent, so you can't take them lightly. This is a quote from those guys. It's the team. This team looks to innovate through providing their proprietary mythical platform to top developers to help build player-owned economies on popular blockchains, right? So that's the way that they're approaching things. So while they're pushing this game, they're not specifically the developer of the game. The developer of the game is Third Kind Games, someone I haven't heard about, who is coming through the ranks. But Mythical Games is obviously someone building a platform for these other developers to come in and use. And they're going to obviously use all of that kind of knowledge and know-how and experience and brains trust to kind of help these guys build something that's decently big. For a first-time game, as you'll see with the trailer that's about to come out, it looks anything but indie. So what is this game about? Blanko's Block Party. We're talking here a party MMO game. That's what they're referring it to. It's got a very playful vibe, customizing your art and music. It's a world builder. So you'll be exploring these worlds, but you're also building these worlds. And then there's a whole collectible element of it. You collect these little Blankos, these kind of like chibi vinyl style animated characters that have kind of come to life, very cute and cuddly, as you'll see in a second. So there's kind of collectible element to that as well, and a trading element in that you'll trade all these out. They've said it's coming to PC first, but will come to consoles as well, so they're going reasonably big with this thing. How they will integrate the kind of sandbox experience of creating and building something and infusing your own music and your own art into this world, and then adding that collectible element around that would be very interesting. But it definitely sounds like it's going for more for a social angle of trying to get people in there and just wanting to group in there and talk to each other and be in this world at the same time. Appears to be the angle they're going for, but definitely seems like this has come from exactly the same whiteboard as your Little Big Planets or your Dreams, or even your Fortnite. As you'll see from this trailer, there's a hint of Fortnite at the start of this, especially now that they've announced Fortnite Creative. I got another quote from you about the goal of this game. The goal will be to grow your own impressive and rare collection of interactive toys that can be played in this amazing world. So that kind of just goes on to solidify what I was just saying then about what this game's aiming for. The Blankos themselves, they're into good times and good vibes, just like me. And there's going to be endless combos for you to collect. So obviously they're applying a blockchain here, and more than just the hosting of these worlds, but also in this kind of the CryptoKitty style thing of meshing these things together and spilling out various combos will have various forms of value. So there's an opportunity here, if you're in the game, to kind of make a bit of an income if you do really well. It's a hub to meet people. There'll be daily challenges to face. There'll be scavenger hunts to go on. There'll be mini games that'll come into it, which after I told you the experience of some of the people involved with this, you can kind of see where that's probably going to go. And you'll be able to create your own block party, hence the name, and then invite your friends into your own block party there. So that's pretty interesting as well. There's also going to be a level up thing, which is the level up seems to be based on interaction from what I can glean. So you will be leveling up not through traditional means of like just beating bad guys and leveling up, but you'll be leveling up through the way that you interact with other people in the world, which is a very interesting way of harnessing a social engaging platform, one that I can't think of another example of right now off the top of my head. Like I said, we do have a video. It tells you next to nothing about the actual game itself other than just setting the tone and ripping off a few Fortnite dances, but still super cute anyway, so check it out. This is the very first footage in the world of Blanko's Block Party. There you go, Blanko's block party. You see that dance at the end? That's what my kids keep doing. Where do they see that? Anyway, that is the end of another big, awesome GxB episode for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you're going to tune back next week. Make sure you follow us, all that kind of stuff. We're always talking blockchain and gaming over here. We've always got some really interesting stuff to share with you guys. We are going to sign out with one last trailer. This literally just crossed my desk as I walked in here, so I can't tell you too much other than the game's called Blue Dawn. It's a mobile RPG built on a blockchain. It's coming out in Q2 of 2019. You can buy, sell all your weapons and items like we've come to know and love. It's by ITAM, who are building it on the EOS blockchain. And that's all I can tell you right now other than the trailer. Thanks for joining me. It was great to have your attention. And here is Blue Dawn.